Hi there everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you a Corgi coloring tutorial using the gray Muse stamp set called Dogs in the Craft Room. And if you're not familiar with the gray Muse, you've probably already seen that they have all of these really adorable little pins. I absolutely love this one. And they're so much fun to collect. So I am just starting my little collection. I need to figure out how exactly I'm going to have them on display in my craft room. But they recently came out with some new stamp sets, and this one is absolutely adorable. I love all of the little sayings and all of their little faces. My son is in love with corgis, and I'm going to make this card for him today. So let's get started on the coloring. Okay, so I'm going to color this adorable little corgi, and I'm going to be using N3, N1, and N0 for the white area. That's what we're going to start with first. So I'm going to start with my N3, add a little bit of color right along the bottom. Anytime you're coloring something white, you want to give it a little bit of a shadow. And then we're also going to make the paws white. And down here as well. And then we're going to take N1 and we're going to give a little shadow over there on the tail. And then we'll take N0. We're going to do a heavy flick going up so that way it blends nicely into the white. Go ahead and go back with our N3, and we're just going to outline right along the sides here just so we can give a little bit more definition up here towards the top. And now I'm going to come out a little bit more with my N1 and then my N0. Alright, so I forgot to do his little paws, so let's go back with N1. And then again with N0. So now for his little tongue, let's go ahead and color it R32 and R30, and we'll also be using this for the insides of the ears. So the part of the tongue that's back, we're going to fill it in with the darker pink, and then right along the inside part of the ears is also going to be the darker pink, and then we'll take the R30 and fill in the rest of the remaining space. So for the darker part of his body, we're going to go ahead and make him a little bit of an orangey brown. So I'm going to start with my YR14. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color right along the edge and right in here. And we'll add a little bit at the top of his head. And then also his body that's kind of peeking out. And then on his chest, we're going to also make him orange there as well. And then we're going to take the YR12 and come out a little bit more. So this down here is pretty much filled in, and the rest of his body over here too. And then we're just going to come out a little bit more. So you want to pull going up, but also come up a little bit more on each side, so that way it's gradually filling in with each new lighter color. And then we're going to take Y23, get a nice blend. You'll have to go over it a couple of times since this isn't the regular coordinating color, but I like the color that it leaves for the lightest area. I think it matches a corgi really, really well. You just gotta work for that color a little bit. So you wanna get a nice blend. And then we're gonna go and we're gonna add a little bit of shadow. So let's take E43. Anytime we shadow an orange, we have to use a brown, so that way it doesn't really change the color. So I'm just going back and adding a little bit of color where we first added that YR14. And then let's go back and add a little bit more YR14 directly over that E43, making it just a darker version of this orange color. And then the same thing with YR12, we're just going to come out a little bit more. And you could do this like how I'm doing it, where I'm adding that little bit of texture to it. I'm not necessarily just coloring it to fill it. I'm adding a little bit of little squiggles and dots here and there. It gives it a little texture to the fur. Okay, so now we got to make those shadows up on the face match the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my E43 and add just a tiny bit right along the darkest point, so right underneath the head and then right along the sign. Then we're going to go back with the YR14 to kind of cover it up. And I'm actually going to take my YR14 and I'm going to come up the paws a little bit. So that way it looks like just the paws or the little orangey color. So it's coming over and then it kind of cuts off. And then let's take the YR12, come it down a little bit more. And then the Y23 will come down a little bit more, just so it kind of fades into the paw. All right, so now let's go ahead and give a little bit of a shadow to that sign. Let's go ahead and make it, let's go ahead and make it white. So we're just gonna give it, or you know what, let's do brown. So I'm gonna be using E44, E43, and E42, and maybe a little E41 if we needed some highlight to it. So we're going to start with E44, and let's make it like a wood. So I'm going to come down and add a little bit of color going all along the bottom, and then as I'm coming up, we're going to go ahead and add some wood texture. And then we'll take the E43 and we're just going to drag this color out a little bit more. It's kind of like when you're doing pleats, you want to pull the color out just so it kind of fades. And then we'll take the E42. And again, I'm just pulling that color. There is still some white left. So I'm going to take my E41 and just make sure that there's no more color left, or I'm sorry, no more white left on our little wood board. And now we can go ahead and stamp our little sentiment in the center. Okay, so I went ahead and stamped my little sentiment in the center. I'm going to take my little black micron pen, or you could use a multi-liner, and I'm just going to darken the nose and the eyes. My Memento black ink is needing a refill, or I need a new one. So let's go ahead and trace this part of the mouth just a little bit. And he is super cute and ready to be cut out and placed on my card. Okay everyone, so here is my finished card. I absolutely love the way it came out. I love these little corgis, and against the white background with that little hint of green. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to link down below to the Gray Muse, and you can see all the goodies they have in the store. Thanks again. Have a great day.